So we need to educate our voters on that too.
everybody. The Commissioners Court of Brazos County will meet regular session on October the 1st, 2024, at 10 a.m. Commissioners Courtroom in the County Administration Building, 200 South Texas Avenue, Suite 106. First item on the agenda is the invocation pledge of allegiance to the U.S. Texas flag, and I'll lead those. Father, again, I want to thank you for your love and your mercy. I want to thank you, Father, for the blessings we have. We're living in the country we're in. Father, I pray that you'll be with our country and our leaders as we're in difficult times. I pray, Father, that you'll be with us this morning as we make decisions for the county. Give us wisdom as we make those decisions. I ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. 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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Second item on the agenda is call for citizens' input and or concerns. And we've got some. Karen Simpson.
Good morning, Commissioners, Judge. My name is Karen Simpson, and I, like many people in this room, do not have confidence in our election system. Twice I have made an open records request to find out if the EMS in Brazos County is being updated. Since I have not received an answer to my request, I have to assume it's not being done. In review of our Texas election code, our election administrator may very well be conducting every test available that she is supposed to do as required by Texas Secretary of State, and be following all of the HART security procedures and having the machines certified. But it is still possible for malicious fraud to occur in our systems. Our voting system in America is under attack and has been for the last 30 or 40 years. We must fix this attack. We have problems with our voter lists, chain of custody, with the machines, and our rights to audit. Several of us worked with IV3 to examine our voter rolls and found hundreds of potentially illegitimately registered voters. We were chastised. In many counties, elections were certified even though there were more votes than registered voters. We have problems with the chain of custody. Our machines are vulnerable to hacking. They are vulnerable to malicious software, which is against the Election Assistance Commission Standard 7.4.2. Our rights to audit have been affected by our secretaries of state. The people have been denied control to look inside of the machines based on proprietary information. These are our elections. We, the people, need to be able to run our own elections and not be hindered by questionable processes. Also, countywide voting affects ballot privacy. We have to challenge misconduct, and United Sovereigns America lawsuit will ensure that we have standing, which has been the problem with innumerable election integrity cases so far. They will bring cases to the Supreme Court to hold election officials personally accountable. And if a state election is determined to be illegitimate, it can be thrown out and redone. Texas Election Code, Subchapter C, Voting System Security, Section 129.054, Network Connections and Wireless Technology. A voting system may not be connected to any external communications network, including the internet. Beginning September 1st, 2026, that's 2 years from now. Why would they put a requirement for the future? Why not now? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Russ Ford.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. I've got 4 different issues that I'd like to talk with you about this morning. I realize I could have signed up as a citizen and then signed up to speak on behalf of the party, so I'm going to ask that Bruce give me just a little bit of leeway, maybe 30 seconds extra or whatever. I'd first like to speak as a citizen. I live on Democrat Road in Brazos County, and we, for the last 6 weeks, have been under construction on Oak Lake Road on a bridge over there. If you've looked around town and you've seen automobiles that you cannot see anything but maybe the windows, that's people that live on Democrat Road that are completely covered up with dust. What I would say is that as our commissioners, I understand that engineering is going to come up with projects and things are going to be delayed, but I know at one point in time we considered paving Democrat Road as an addition to Oak Lake Road, and that just didn't happen. It didn't happen even though all parties had agreed to the right-of-way, it wasn't signed on time or whatever. So my question and statement is that when we decided to do the bridge on Oak Lake Road and put traffic over on Democrat on the non-paved sections of it, we needed to grade that road regularly. And I know of at least 20 people that have called their commissioner and asked him specifically to get out there and grade the road. I think on every occasion they did, but you made us call ahead of time. What I'm asking you as commissioners and members of the court is, remember, you're the only person that represents us. The engineering group does what they need to do technically, but it's you that we come to and ask you that you keep us in mind. When you live out on country roads, that's a part of your lifestyle and quality of life. And I just ask that in the future, as a commissioner, if something's going on in your precinct, keep your citizens in mind, please. Okay, that's on behalf of Russ Ford. I'd like to now speak just for a couple of minutes on behalf of the Republican Party of Brazos County. I am the chairman, and I had a person who was actually speaking on their own behalf, but he introduced himself at the budget hearing and at the meeting following that as being a member of the CEC or a precinct chair in the county. What I will ask is, I want to apologize on behalf of the party. One precinct chair does not represent the party. Unless we have passed a resolution to come speak to you about it, I'll speak on behalf of the party, but I'd ask that our precinct chairs in the future, even if you're running for some future public office, that you don't come and insult a sitting official on this court. That's not appropriate, and I apologize to the court for that. The other thing that I'd like to add is that my counterpart on the other party came and spoke, I believe it was last week, I watched it on the internet, and spoke about a piñata that was at the Fiesta Patrias booth for the Democratic Party. What I'm going to tell you is we fight for their right to do anything that they want to do as long as it's not against the law. What we're asking is that our former president and current candidate for president has been attempted to be assassinated twice. We've got a mental health crisis in our country here, and we just ask that you be sensitive and don't say things or do things that are inflammatory that might cause some person that's unstable to do something that's not right. The last thing that I guess I'd like to speak about is just to say that our party is the party of the American dream. However, my counterpart was challenging us on election integrity. And what I will tell you is that we do have human beings that run our elections. We use machines, but we do have human beings. And that's why our party, our Election Integrity Committee, actually has a request out for poll watchers to make sure that we don't have any problems. In other words, our party supplies the majority of the poll workers, of the election workers, but we also ask that that we get poll watchers out there to, again, help make sure that we've got integrity. Election integrity is important to everyone, to everybody in this county. So with that said, Judge, thank you so much for the minute. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Cindy Wiley.
Morning, Judge and Commissioners. I was going to address the pinata thing, but I think our GOP took care of that for us, so I won't comment on it. I do want to circle back to what I spoke to last week regarding what I have found as a public citizen, just doing research on my own on the voter registration roll. I took the 8/13/2024 voter registration roll, and I looked at 84, just 84 registrants that were on it. Out of those 84, I found 17 were deceased, and I actually have the obits photocopied that I pulled off the internet. Yet they have an active status. So that means anybody using their name, they could do a mail-in ballot, because all you have to do is just sign the application and sign the ballot, and there's no authenticating from the original voter registration signature. So those are all potentially fraud ballots that could be used. Then I have 2 in addition to that that are deceased that I say most likely are a strong match, but I can't say for sure. That would have to be our EA doing the investigation. I have, let me skip to it really quick. I have other anomalies that need to also be addressed. I have in the date of birth of 1901 to 1924, I have one with the same name, the same address. They have 2 voter ID numbers. They both are on suspense on the county and the state, but yet they voted in 2014 and 2020. One has a date of birth of 1901 and one has a date of birth of 1948. Most likely the same person. Another one, I have the same time period. Same name, same address, same phone number. They have 2 VUIDs. They're both active on the state and the county voter rolls. One has a date of birth of 1901, one has a date of birth of 1944. Next, I have another voter, same name, same address, same phone number. They have 2 VUIDs. Both are suspended in the county, but one of the VUIDs is still active under the state voter registration rolls. Date of birth 1901, also 1948, voted in 2014 and 2020. The next one, same name, probably a strong match, 2 different addresses. They have the same phone number. There's 2 VUIDs, both are active on the state and the county. One with the birth date of 1901, the other one with the birth date of 1956. They re-registered in 2020, and that's when they got their second VUID, but the other one is still active. So here's my ask. I'm getting down to time. Here's what I'm asking this court to do. To direct the election administrator to utilize the National Change of Address database per the National Voter Registration Act of 1993, Section 8. The database is currently being used in Texas, but for some reason, we don't do it here in Brazos County. Direct the election administrator to investigate the registrants with birth dates from 1901 to 1924. Direct the election administrator to clarify that if a registered voter is accidentally canceled and they can prove eligibility, that they can be reinstated by the election administrator, and the Texas Election Code has remedies to allow for casting a vote. Can I finish my last one? Yes?
If it's short.
Direct election administrator to clarify that legally present non-U.S. citizens can legally possess a Texas-issued driver's license, yet are not allowed to legally vote in Texas.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keith King.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
This is from the Deputy Director of ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. I feel the public should hear this. Not everyone hears the news or researches I will read part of this. The Honorable Tony Gonzalez, U.S. House of Representatives. Dear Representative Gonzalez, thank you for your March 13, 2024 letter to the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. I'm responding on behalf of the Department and apologize for the delay. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, recognizes the importance of its relationships with its law enforcement partners to carry out its mission in recent years. However, as you know, some jurisdictions have reduced their cooperation with ICE to include refusal to honor ICE detainer requests, even for non-citizens who have been convicted of serious felonies and pose an ongoing threat to public safety. ICE recognizes that some jurisdictions are concerned that cooperating with federal immigration officials will erode trust in immigrant communities and make it harder for local law enforcement to serve those populations. However, sanctuary policies can end up shielding dangerous criminals who often victimize those same communities. Despite the challenges of operating within a broken immigration system and in the face of an enormous workload and consistently limited funding, DHS continues to enforce the law to secure our borders. We are removing and returning record numbers of migrants who are unable to establish a legal basis to remain in the United States and prioritizing for removal those who present national security and public safety risks. And recent border crossers, from mid-May 2023 through the end of July 2024, DHS removed or returned more than 893,600 individuals, including more than 138,300 individuals in family units. The majority of all individuals encountered at the southwest border over the past 3 years have been removed, returned, or expelled. Your letter requests the number of non-citizens on ICE's docket convicted or charged with a crime. As of July 21, 2024, there were 662,566 non-citizens with criminal histories on ICE's national docket, which includes those detained by ICE and on the agency's non-detained docket. Of those, 435,719 are convicted criminals, and 226,847 have pending criminal charges. And there's some charts here. I just want to give just a few numbers, but on the non-detained pending criminal charges, assault, 42,915. Dangerous drugs, 13,846. And traffic offenses, 49,269. Weapon offenses, 3,397. You know, it's crazy, but non-detained convicted criminals, assault 62,231, dangerous drugs 6,533, homicide 13,099, robbery 10,031, sexual assault 15,811, traffic offenses 77,074, weapons offenses 13,423. You also requested ICE's current detention capacity under the DHS Appropriations Bill enacted on March 23, 2024. ICE Enforcement and Removal Operations, ERO, is funded at 41,500 beds through the rest of the fiscal year, which is an increase from 34,000 in 2023. And this is sincerely Patrick Leichleitner, Deputy Director and Senior Official, performing the duties of Director of ICE. I ask to please be extra careful and smart and report anything suspicious. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Walter Doherty.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. It is hard to believe that it's been a year since we had an election integrity workshop here. It was October of last year, and the topic then was ways to improve our Brazos County elections. I'm happy to see that some progress has been made on some of those points. What I'd like to do today is update the list of improvements that need to be done for our Brazos County election systems, and I simply summarize them as 6 proposed items for a future agenda. The first is to direct the elections administrator to install Microsoft antivirus definition updates each month on the Verity Count and Verity Central computers as required by the federal regulations, Voluntary Voting System Guidelines, version 1.0, section 7.4.2. The Election Assistance Commission federal regulations are labeled voluntary because the federal government cannot impose them on the states until the states participate. But since Texas does participate with the AC, they are no longer voluntary, they are mandatory. And so just like Your IT department updates all of your computers every month with the Microsoft antivirus updates. It is now mandatory that the election equipment also be updated with antivirus definitions. Number 2, direct the elections administrator to patch known vulnerabilities in Microsoft SQL Server on Verity Count and Verity Central computers as required by state law. So the state law says you may not use a voting system that is not safe. Microsoft has said the SQL server we're using is not safe, and therefore it can't be used until it's patched. Number 3, direct the county auditor to investigate the discrepancy in election results from November 2020. Namely, the official cast vote record report listed at least 2,567 ballots with no vote for president, but the official canvass only counted 537 of them. So with the same software produces 2 different numbers for how many people did not vote for president. It needs to be investigated. Number 4, direct the elections administrator to stop using computers for Verity Count and Verity Central, which the Texas Secretary of State website says are uncertifiable because they possess the capability to connect to a network. Namely, an integrated network interface controller with an RJ45 network jack plainly visible on the back of the computers. And I have the reference to the Secretary of State. Number 5, authorize an independent hash validation which does not use HART software to check HART software. So this was actually a suggestion from Montgomery County. I recently met the judge there, and he was very interested in hearing more about your plan, which was carried out to do a random audit of additional precincts here. So I'll get you his contact information, or he can call you, or you can call him. But so your idea is spreading at least to Montgomery County. And finally, number 6, to authorize an independent cyber. So his point about number 5 was that the current process of hash validation, which is to verify the software has not been altered since it was installed, uses HART software to check HART software. And everybody knows that that's just common sense. You don't have the same person check themselves. So to authorize an independent hash validation that does not use HART software to check that the HART software hasn't been changed. And finally, number 6, to authorize an independent cybersecurity inspection of all voting equipment, including checking for network logins. So this is an updated list of improvements that are needed in our election systems. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Kathy Beans?
And I have extra copies if anybody wants one later.
Okay.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I actually heard something new from Cindy this morning in regard to the deceased people that are still on the voter rolls, because I happened to do a quick search using the Brazos County death notices running from December to July, and I found 2 people that have been dead since December of last year. And so my question is, if the SOS and the county administration election office are supposed to be transmitting information back and forth about eligibility, felons, people that are deceased and are supposed to be removed immediately, there must be an interruption somewhere in that process. Something's not working. If we have a number of people under just quick look that are not being removed. I also have a more recent voter registration roll, and I checked some of the challenges that I filed for people that had moved out of the county and asked for a permanent address change, and they're still on there as registered voters. I think that's a problem. And so the 2 people I have their VOIDs, I have their death notices, they're still on the active voter rolls. Also, Cindy brought up something that I didn't know about either, is that the state voter rolls are showing active in some situations where the county is showing them on suspense. Again, if they're supposed to be integrated in processing information between the 2 sources of information, something's not working. I don't know what it is, but it should be looked into. My second point is that it's been said here in this court and in public that our systems are not vulnerable to a Wi-Fi attack or internet exposure because they're not connected to anything. But if you think about the way that you walk into a voting place with your let's say you have a driver's license, and they swipe your card, they scan it, and they communicate with the county to see if you have voted somewhere else and to make sure that you are an active, eligible voter. They're communicating with the county, they're not making a phone call. They're communicating by internet. So if we have an outage in the internet, like we had recently with these big groups, or there's a power problem with electricity, we don't have a backup plan. There is no backup plan. And under Texas Election Code Section 129056, it reads, "The general custodian of election records shall create a contingency plan," but we don't have one. So God forbid there is a Wi-Fi interruption, an internet, whatever you want to call it, and we can't communicate from the voting location back to the county, or we can't transmit information. That's a problem that we should be thinking about. It should be talked about. So it's too late to go to anything to resolve this situation. So my ask today is that you allow citizens to do a manual count after the election is held of the ballots for the presidential election and the U.S. Senate seat, and let us find the people who will volunteer at their own time and expense to do a hand count to confirm to us, to assuage our concerns that the election is accurate.
Okay, thank you. Marie Wood?
Oh, excuse me. I was thinking someone else was going to be speaking. Sorry about that. Good morning, Judge Peters and honorable commissioners. Today is a day of reckoning. I have brought with me a press release from the United Sovereign Americans outlining the lawsuit they have filed with the state of Texas. It has been submitted for this meeting to add to the minutes, along with a copy of my remarks made here today. Several points are made in this press release regarding the unconstitutional enactment of irregularities illegally added to the election process in Brazos County, taken from both federal, the Help America Vote Act, HAVA, and the state of Texas Election Code. The members of this commissioner's court know they have usurped the voting rights of the citizens of Brazos County. I know it, the good citizens know it, and now you know we know it. And after today, thousands more Brazos County voters will know it. To quote the press release, states have a dual responsibility under the United States Constitution to protect against denial of the vote and dilution of valid votes with invalid ballots procured by corruption. In the presence of uncertainty, the law presumes fraud, and the state of Texas must produce records proving accuracy. And I will add, to protect the unencumbered access to vote. To be clear, the scope of this lawsuit includes every county, and you personally, within the state where it is served. There have been over 20 executed already throughout the United States besides Texas. Furthermore, it provides standing for any citizen filing a complaint attached to the lawsuit. I have provided a link in my what I've submitted for you to view the filing and the exhibits. You are being put on notice. The Office of Elections should be reinstated under the county clerk. It is a misuse of taxpayers' money and county resources for it to remain in a separate office under a mere election administrator. Genuinely interested citizens of Brazos County have come before you repeatedly in this setting with their concerns and research data, only to be ignored, disrespected, and called out by staff and members of the local Democratic Party as being nothing more than partisan liars. One could be justified in railing against such insolence. were it not for the ignorance and lack of intelligence of those making these comments. I lay this matter at your feet. Do with it what you will. Come November 6, 2024, the time for all final reckoning in this matter will begin. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mark Holtzapple.
Howdy, I'm Mark Holtzapple, a professor of chemical engineering at Texas A&M, and I'm here today as a private citizen. On September 10th, I observed the accuracy and logic testing, and I have 3 takeaway messages. The first is that the ballot box, which is collapsible, has many hinges that are exposed and could be pulled, allowing people to go into the ballot box and change the voting ballots. Being an engineer, I wanted to touch it and see how it worked, and I did that and was told in no uncertain terms, don't touch the machine. But I was so amazed that I called in my friend David Caraba, who was out in the hallway, and said, David, look at this. You could pull these hinges. And so he started to touch it and was said, don't touch the machine. The second point that I want to make is that the way we validated the ballots was by paper, hand counting, right? So we did an electronic count, but the only way that we knew it was correct was by a hand count. So the gold standard for truth is the hand count, okay? Now, the logic and accuracy test is interesting, but it doesn't prove anything. Computers can be programmed to do anything you want. And so the fact that it works on September 10th does not mean that it works on voting day or all the pre-election time up to that. So I was pretty inspired by all of this and came up with a bunch of questions which are in this paper. There's roughly 20 or 25 questions. You guys have copies of it. And graciously, Bruce Errett and Trudy Hancock answered my questions, which they did not have to do. So I really appreciate that. I really do. That's a spirit of cooperation. So what I did then was looked at the responses to my questions and then made observations. And then I gave a rating, A, B, and C. I'm a professor rate, A, B, and C. A means good, B is not so great, and C is we got a problem, right? So you can see by looking at my document how I rated the different questions. By the way, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I assume that people are honest. What I'm trying to do is come up with a system that is truthful, that no matter who is implementing the system will protect us from fraud, right? So we want to have a system that's not vulnerable. In my analysis, I came up with 6 recommendations, which are on the back copy. Because time is always limited, I'm not going to go through them. But what I would ask is that on the next week's agenda, we actually address these issues and see if we can secure elections by within the month. And everything can be implemented. It's not like it's crazy. It's just slight changes in procedures that we can increase our security. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you. Charles Coates.
Hello, Judge, Commissioners. Charles Coates, representing Habitat for Humanity. And I'm here, I'm not going to take up the whole 3 minutes, I don't think, but I'm here to talk to you all about something that we believe at Habitat, almost everyone can come together and agree on. And that is the opportunity of all families in Brazos County, the opportunity to achieve home ownership, to own a little piece of land for themselves. I'm not good at public speaking, so I apologize, but we have an event coming up on the 19th of October, so this month, that it is called Candidates Build. And we've done it for, I think this is the 7th or 8th year. And it brings together candidates running for office, any level, along with staff and a family in need, and we work together, right and left, across the spectrum, to build part of that house. Some of you sitting up here, I think, have attended, and we appreciate it. But we do hope that the community knows as well that they are welcome. So, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Oh, and I'm going to have, sorry. I have some flyers. With your permission, I'd like to put some back there.
Okay. All right, that completes the citizen input. Next, we'll consider and take action on agenda items 3 through 33. Number 3 is approval requested to donate excess medical supplies to Chosen, a nonprofit organization for emergency management.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 4 is approval requested to donate excess medical supplies to Health for All, a nonprofit organization for emergency management.
Move for approval.
Second.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 5 is approval of an order 24-017 directing salary fund to the general fund for fiscal year 2025.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, and I believe Kathy Beans wanted to speak to that.
I'm just curious about if this is a process that's done every year. Is it that entire fund goes into the general fund, or the money that sits in the salary fund is being removed from the salary fund and put into the general fund? And how much is that? I didn't see that noted anywhere. How much money is in that salary fund that we're moving out of salaries and into general? Do we know?
Do you want to speak to that, Christian?
And please speak up.
So it is, can you hear me?
Yes.
It is done every year. It's at the beginning of the fiscal year. It's strictly stating that instead of creating separate salary funds for precinct officers, district officers, and county officers, those funds sit in the general fund and they remain in this general fund. If we created separate salary funds, we would still have to be moving the money out from the general fund into those salary funds, and then at the end of the fiscal year, moving them back into the general fund.
So how much money is left from last year's salary fund that we're putting into general?
So that's the budgeted items that was budgeted for this year. It was on the fiscal year 25 budget. That's going to be, instead of creating separate salary funds for each one, it stays in the general fund.
This is not money from the last year's budget.
Correct.
Oh, that's what we
Leaving
do?
this.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing.
This is
No.
future money.
Correct. This is
Okay.
this is FY25.
Okay.
Right, yeah. Okay. We got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 6 is approval requested from a specialty court to pay the following invoices. Recovery Healthcare Corp. for the use of GPS curfew monitors to purchase order was not obtained in advance.
Move for approval A and B.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 7 is approval of the following job descriptions
Move for approval A
through P.
through P.
Okay,
Second.
okay, we've got a motion and a second to approve A through P, and Kathy Wiley wanted to speak to that. Oh, there you are.
You blended Kathy and me. I just have a quick question because somebody asked me and I couldn't answer. Are we creating new jobs? Are we just redefining them? Or what is going on with the job descriptions?
I think what it probably was those job descriptions needed to be updated. They've been here, in that, whatever they were for a long time, and so they've, Human Resources looked at all those job descriptions and then made adjustments, and so these are just, it's a job description that may have changed, but no, it's not creating new positions, it's the same thing, it just updated the job descriptions.
Okay, and for the most part, they're filled already. These people already have, these jobs are already filled.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right, thank you.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 8 is approval of Brazos County Equal Opportunity EEO Plan.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm sorry.
None motion.
Late aye.
Okay. None motion carries. 9 is approval of interlocal agreement between Brazos County and City of Bryan pursuant to Chapter 311 Texas Tax Code for the participation of Brazos County Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone number 21 created by the City of Bryan.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I think you had somebody that you wanted to have talk about it.
Was there? Okay, come on up. Yes, I've missed that one.
So I understand in number 9, I was looking at the interlocal agreement with the City of Bryan in regard to the parking garage. And so my question is, it looks like we are going to make payments yearly to the city beginning 2026 and ending in 2037, totaling $5 million, which could be adjusted up from there at any point with the court's agreement. And my question is this going to be a new item in the 2026 budget as a capital project, or how, is this a new obligation that we are instituting with this $5 million payments?
Okay, so they've got a TERS in downtown Bryan.
Yes, I understand that.
And this is a new development on the north end of
Yep.
Bryan. Our participation is limited to $5 million. It won't go up from there. It could be less, but it won't go up from there. For the public portion of a parking garage that will go down there, which hopefully will relieve some of the parking that's happening in our parking areas, our parking garage, and then the parking lot over there behind the Longhorn. Go ahead.
I'm not questioning that it's needed or that it will be beneficial to the community. What I'm trying to find out, is this going to be a new item in the budget and a new obligation on the part of the county to the city?
Okay, so the only way this gets paid is if the increment of what the value is today goes up enough to, they'll get, what is it? I think it's 80%, I believe what we agreed to. I don't remember, but they only get the increment of the value that goes up. So if they don't build and don't do it what they propose to do, or if the value for whatever reason does not go up to what they projected, they won't be receiving it. That's the only thing they receive is a portion of the increment of the value that goes up for what they build. Okay. We got a motion in a second.
We voted.
Oh, we already voted, okay. Okay, we'll go to number 10 then. Approval of contract renewal OAGC 01650 associated with contract number 2022-23-44-900-319-01 with Apris Insights LLC participating entity services agreement for statewide automated victim notification services savings. Renewal period is September 1, 2024 to August 31, 2025.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 11 is approval of communities support contracts for FY 2025.
Move for approval A through G.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 12 is approval of amendment number 1 to agreement 22-014R with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension for economic impact for Brazos County Expo Complex.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 13 is approval of change order number 2, CIP 22-624, architect for Brazos County Road and Bridge and Heavy Fleet Building with Powers Brown Architecture for additional design services in the amount of $4,500, increasing the total contract to $204,409.41.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None motion carries. Number 14 is approval of amendment number 1 to contract 23-100 event management software for Brazos County Expo to add inventory and asset management services in the amount of $24,579.17.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 15 is approval of change order number 4, CIP 23-580 Overlines Road, Phase 1 cement stabilization in the amount of $9,083.91, increasing the total contract amount to $4,762,372.69.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 16 is approval of change order number 1, CIP 23-589 for flat work and site drainage improvements at Brazos County Tax Office and AgriLife Building with GLS for additional services involving design, repairs, and foundation improvements in the amount of $16,000, increasing the total amount of the contract to $50,600.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 17 is approval of amendment number 5 to CIP 23-601, architect for Brazos County Administration Building with Plan North Architectural for the additional design services in the amount of $62,350, increasing the total contract amount to $1,686,653.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion.
Yeah, just, this is amendment number 5, and I was just curious if we had any insights or perspective into whether there will be additional amendments from our project management folks. This one kind of keeps on growing.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. No, this should be the last one. So there was a bit of scope that got missed as we took a piece of the roof that was going to get fixed with the hail damage claims, and we shifted that because we were having design issues with the tie-in and shifted it over to the work underneath the scope of the architect. The plan currently is that this is the last design amendment, and the rest of the plans have already been approved by the city, and then this will go out for bid after the first of the year.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.
We hadn't voted yet, have we? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 18 is approval of service contract 24-136 for fuel with Fikes Wholesale. Original RFP from TAMU. It should be RFP 24-4608.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion.
Yeah, just so it'll show in our minutes that we made that change in the RFP number.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 19 is approval of amendment number 1, CIP 24-508 with Brazos Valley Council of Governments, BVCOG, for Brazos County former ISD building connectivity to the Health District fiber relocation for additional service required.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None motion carries. Number 20 is approval of the following committee for RFP 25-027 landscape maintenance.
Move for approval A through E.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 21 is permission to advertise for RFP 25-027 landscape maintenance.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 22 is permission to advertise for bid 25-061 hot mix asphalts.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 23 is approval of agreement 25-069 with Brazos Valley Fair and Exposition.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 24 is consider and take action on Frontier Utility Permit to relocate facilities by boring 3,330 feet of conduit along and within the recently acquired right-of-way of Democrat Road to accommodate future road widening improvements. Project 1, road bore crossing, sites located in precinct 2.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion.
Yeah, I'm excited that now that the county finally has that right-of-way, which I will reiterate only occurred this summer. So any claims of why the road would have been paved before that are incorrect. The county acquired the right-of-way this summer, and so you'll see more of these utility-type items coming up on agendas so we can move those utilities and eventually pave Democrat Road, which I'm fully in favor of and excited to see moving forward.
All right. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 25 is consider and take action on Brazos Wi-Fi utility permit to construct 4 road bores under Grove Drive, Shady Grove, Vista Oaks subdivisions to install fiber optic cable for internet service. Sites is located in precinct 2.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 26 is consider and take action on Brazos Wi-Fi utility permit to construct 6 road bores under Longview Drive, Vista Oaks subdivision to install fiber cable for internet service. Sites located in precinct 2.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 27 to consider and take action on Brazos Wi-Fi utility permit to construct 6 road bores under Prospect Lane, Vista Oaks subdivision to install fiber optics cable for internet service. Sites located in precinct 2.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 28 is consider and take action on Brazos Wi-Fi utility permit to construct road bore under Twisting Trails, Vista Oaks subdivision to install fiber optic cable for internet service. Sites located in precinct 2.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 29 is approve the treasurer's report for July 2024.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 30 is Commissioners Court minutes for the following dates.
Move for approval A through H.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 31 is budget amendments, FY 23-24 budget amendments 50.01 through 50.08, and FY 24-25 budget amendments 1.01 through 1.010, and there's been a change with 1.04, and it was the only change was the titles. That didn't change the money part of it.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded to approve those budget amendments with this change to the titles in 1.04. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 32 is personnel change of status.
Move for approval A and B.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 33 is payment of claims. Approval of payment claims 820-5330 through claim number 820-5545 and claim number 9202386 through claim number 9202473.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 34 is acknowledgement of the 23-24 budget to actuals by fund as of September the 25th, 2024, and an acknowledgement of the 23-24 contingency budget actuals by fund as of September the 25th, 2024. 35 is Juvenile Director's Report on Detention Population, and Lynn's not here today. There were 27 juveniles in detention. 21 of them were males, 6 were females, and there are 27 juveniles on electronic monitor. Number 36 is Sheriff's Report on Inmate Population. Chief.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. This morning, our total population is 789, 676 males, 113 females, and there are 42 on electronic monitor.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Number 37 is announcement of interest items or possible future agenda topics.
I just wanted to express condolences and prayers for the family of Bonnie and Merrill Green. Merrill Green went home to his reward this week. What do you say about that guy? I mean, he's a great example of how people who agree and disagree on things can still live in a way that honors God and treat each other with great kindness. And we're all better for having known the man.
Yep.
Rest in peace, Merrill.
The choir in heaven is one voice strong, one more voice strong. I'd just like to let everybody know that please put on your agenda to attend all the good things that are coming up with the Brazos County Fair. Lots of good things.
It starts October 18th.
Any other announcement of interest or agenda items? Hearing none, the next item is to adjourn. Thank y'all.
And you can sing.
Yeah. More than just with words.